Hi guys! Welcome to this brand new fanfiction audiobook. If you love Marvel, if you love One Piece, you're going to love this epic crossover. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a chapter of this wild adventure. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy as we dive into a world where the master of magnetism meets the pirates of the Grand Line. This is Chapter 1. The Rift Opens. The wind howled across the endless, cerulean expanse of the Grand Line. Towering waves crashed like beasts against the hull of the Going Merry as it sailed determinately towards the horizon. The Straw Hat crew was gathered on deck, each member caught in their own world of thought. "Oi, Luffy! Stop hanging off the mast like that, you'll fall!" Nami shouted, hands on her hips. "Relax, Nami. I'm rubber, remember? I can't get hurt." Luffy grinned, stretching his arms around the crow's nest like a child on a playground. It was an ordinary day at sea. Until the sky cracked open. A streak of violet lightning split the heavens, and a storm unlike any the crew had ever seen descended. The air grew heavy with static, and a whirlpool formed suddenly beneath them. But this was no natural storm. From the heart of the swirling maelstrom, a figure emerged. Cloaked in crimson, helmet gleaming with a metallic sheen, the man descended, floating as though gravity held no sway over him. "Who the hell is that?" Sanji gasped, flicking the cigarette from his lips. Zoro unsheathed one of his swords. "I don't like this, not one bit." The figure's eyes glowed beneath his helm. He hovered just above the deck, arms outstretched as if greeting an old friend. "I am Magneto." Chapter 2. A World Without Metal. Magneto's arrival wasn't an accident. On his own Earth, a final clash with the X-Men had torn reality itself. Caught in a surge of magnetic energy and mutant power, he had been hurled through a dimensional rift, landing amidst the seas of the Grand Line. His senses immediately noticed a difference. The air was rich with unfamiliar energies. And yet, something unsettled him more, the near absence of refined metals. He glanced at the ship beneath him, a wooden vessel, held together with ropes and iron nails. "Primitive. Newton. What is this world?" Magneto demanded, voice booming unnaturally, the storm still raging above. Luffy grinned. "I'm Monkey D. Luffy, future king of the pirates. And this is my crew." Magneto's brow furrowed beneath his helmet. Pirates. He knew men of greed and conquest in his own world. But something about the boy's aura was different. Before Magneto could question further, another ship crested the waves. A marine vessel, white sails emblazoned with the blue insignia of justice. "Pirates! By order of the world government, surrender at once," came the call. Cannon hatches opened. But Magneto merely raised a hand. The iron cannonballs halted midair, suspended by invisible force, then reversed course, slamming back into the marine ship with crushing precision. Wood splintered. As fell. The ship was reduced to a ruin in seconds. The Straw Hats stared slack-jawed. "Did you see that?" Usopp screamed. He stopped the cannonballs without touching them. Chapter 3. Tensions rise. Zoro stepped forward. "You got some kind of devil fruit power?" "Devil fruit?" Magneto echoed. The term was alien to him. Nami explained hurriedly. "They're fruits that give you special powers. But you can't swim. The sea takes you down." "I have no need of such primitive magic," Magneto replied coldly. "My power is inherent. I control the forces of magnetism. I command metal." Frankie's eyes lit up. "Whoa! You're like a walking magnet, man." But Sanji scowled. "I don't like the way he talks. Who does he think he is?" Magneto looked down at them. "I am a mutant. A superior being from a world where my kind are hunted. I sought to free my people, but fate has cast me here." The Straw Hats exchanged wary glances. Luffy, ever the simple soul, grinned. "Well, if you want to stick around, you gotta be part of the crew. What's your dream?" Magneto chuckled humorlessly. Dreams are for the naive. Luffy's expression hardened. Everyone's got a dream. Even you, Mr. Helmet. For the first time, Magneto hesitated. Perhaps, to create a world where none are oppressed. Chapter 4. The Navy strikes back. Word of the mysterious figure who obliterated a marine ship reached Vice Admiral Garp in mere hours. A man who controls metal, you say? And not from any known devil fruit. Humph. Within days, a Buster Call fleet was dispatched. 5 battleships, loaded with some of the Navy's deadliest. On the Going Merry, Magneto sensed them before anyone else. The metal of their ships sang to him across the waves. "They come," he announced. Nami paled. "A Buster Call." Robin's voice was grim. "If it's a Buster Call, we need to run." But Magneto rose into the air. "Let them come. I've faced worse." The Straw Hats prepared for battle, but what unfolded was less a fight than a massacre. Magneto raised his hands. The cannons twisted. Decks buckled as the iron within tore free from its bindings. Entire ships crumpled like paper before a storm. A rain of splinters and broken metal fell into the sea. Luffy watched in awe. That was awesome. Chapter 5. A Pirate's Justice. But not all were impressed. Zoro confronted Magneto. "You didn't have to kill them all." Magneto's gaze was hard. "Mercy is a luxury. Your world's so-called justice would have shown you none. But that's not how we do things." Luffy shouted, fists clenched. Magneto studied the boy. "You have strength, but lack ruthlessness. It will be your undoing." Tensions boiled. The Straw Hats were divided. Sanji and Zoro distrusted him. Robin was cautious. Frankie was fascinated. Luffy was uncertain. "I dunno if you're a bad guy or not," Luffy admitted. "But we don't hurt people for fun." Magneto laughed darkly. "Fun? Well, survival." Chapter 6. Enemies align. News of Magneto's actions spread like wildfire. The warlords of the sea convened. Mihawk, Doflamingo, Boa Hancock, and even Bartholomew Kuma discussed the new threat. Doflamingo grinned. "A man who controls metal. Oh, the chaos we could unleash." The world government feared what Magneto might mean for their control. They sent CP0. The deadliest assassins. Chapter 7. The Grand Confrontation. On a storm-swept island, the battle erupted. Magneto faced CP0 alone. Mask-clad agents darted like shadows. Their speed was incredible. But to Magneto, every hidden dagger, every wire, every fleck of metal betrayed them. He crushed them mid-stride. But even Magneto could be overwhelmed. Kizaru arrived, his body light incarnate. The Admiral's attacks were near instant. Magneto countered, bending the iron in the earth, launching shards like missiles. The clash lit the night. Chapter 8. Luffy's Decision. At last, Luffy intervened. "I won't let you kill him," Luffy shouted, punching Kizaru aside. Magneto grinned. "You are a fool, Monkey D. Luffy. But perhaps your heart is a strength." They stood back to back. Together. Chapter 9. Parting Ways. In the aftermath, the island was a ruin. The world government pulled back. Magneto turned to Luffy. "This world isn't mine," he admitted. "But you may shape it yet." He removed his helmet. For the first time, his face softened. "I thank you." A new portal opened. "Maybe one day, we'll fight side by side again." And with that, Magneto vanished. Chapter 10. Echoes of Power. The island lay in ruins. Smoke drifted into the night sky, the scent of scorched earth mingling with salt and rain. The Straw Hat crew, battered but alive, stood in a circle around the scorched earth where Magneto's portal had closed. Luffy stared at the spot for a long moment, his fist clenched at his side. "He was strong," Luffy muttered. "Really strong." Robin, her face partially shadowed by her hat, spoke softly. "And dangerous." Sanji lit a cigarette with trembling fingers. "A guy like that, If he'd stayed in this world, nothing could have stopped him. Frankie shook his head. No kidding. Did you see how he bent those warships like scrap metal? Dude was a walking storm. Zorro crossed his arms. It's better he left. Men like that, they bring war with them. But even as the Straw Hats regrouped across the seas, the consequences of Magneto's presence were only beginning to take shape. Chapter 11, The Reverie's Reckoning. Far away in Mary Geos, the celestial dragons whispered in their marble halls. The 5 elders convened in a hidden chamber, faces grim. The man called Magneto, one spoke, stroking his white beard, posed a threat unlike anything we've seen. Another nodded. We lost 2 battleships, over 100 elite marines, and even CP0 suffered casualties. He controlled metal, another elder added, voice tinged with unease. Not a devil fruit, something else. Kizaru, standing silently in the corner, his arms crossed, broke his silence. He was fast. Too fast for even light. If such beings exist beyond the rift, our world is vulnerable. The room fell silent, heavy with implication. The eldest of them leaned forward. Open Project Eclipse. The other's eyes widened. That hasn't been touched since the Void Century. He has shown us we are no longer safe, the elder growled. We'll revive the ancient weapons. If there are more like him, we'll need them. And so, hidden away in vaults untouched for centuries, doomsday devices stirred once more. Chapter 12, New Shadows Rise. In the lawless territories of the New World, word of Magneto's deeds spread like wildfire. Kaido laughed uproariously upon hearing the tale. A man who can tear ships apart and fight an admiral. I like him, he bellowed. Too bad he's gone. Would have made a hell of an ally. Big Mom grinned, her eyes gleaming. Or a tasty meal. But it was Blackbeard in the dark depths of his lair, who pondered the hardest. So there's other worlds now, worlds with monsters like him. He stared at a map of the Grand Line, eyes narrowing. Looks like it's time to broaden my horizons. Chapter 13, The Rift Remains. Back on the Straw Hats ship, Robin pored over ancient texts salvaged from O'Hara. Her brow furrowed as she matched symbols and markings to what she'd seen in the sky. This wasn't the first time, she murmured. Nami glanced over. What wasn't? These rifts, Robin explained. They've appeared before, during the Void Century. Luffy perked up. So, there's other people like Magneto? Robin hesitated. Maybe. The ancient texts mention beings, born of stars who crossed worlds and shook the seas. Usopp swallowed hard. You mean there could be whole armies of superpowered freaks like him? Frankie grinned. Well, bring him on. This ship's tougher than it looks. But deep down, even Frankie knew, they'd barely survived one. Chapter 14, The Metal Curse. Days later, as the Straw Hats stopped on a remote island for supplies, they encountered the first signs of lingering danger. Villagers spoke of strange phenomena. Tools levitating, iron nails pulling themselves from walls, weapons rusting to dust overnight. It started after a red-cloaked man flew through the sky, one elder whispered. Luffy scratched his head. Magneto. Robin shook her head. Residual energy. Whatever dimension he came from. It left a mark. And then the earth trembled. From the jungle emerged a figure, clad in crude armor cobbled from scrap metal. His eyes wide and unhinged. I feel it. The voice of metal. It calls to me. He raised his hand and a broken sword spun into the air. Sanji growled. Great. Copycats. But Robin's face paled. No. Exposure to the rift's energy. It's mutating people. Chapter 15, The Birth of Iron King. The man, once a simple blacksmith named Doran, now called himself the Iron King. He gathered followers, each drawn to the strange magnetic force saturating the island. Tools and weapons bent to his will, and with every passing day, his power grew. The Straw Hats knew they couldn't ignore it. "We let this spread," Zorro said grimly, "and we'll have another Magneto on our hands." Luffy nodded. "Then we stop him." But the battle would be anything but simple. Doran's makeshift army was fanatical. Metal golems, crude but lethal, rose from the earth. Every nail, chain, and blade turned against them. Usopp fired his slingshot. "Even my ammo's getting pulled off course," Frankie cursed. "He's magnetizing everything." The fight raged for hours. At last, Luffy broke through, delivering a crushing Gum Kong gun that sent Doran flying. The magnetic storm died. The Iron King was no more. Chapter 16. The rift reopens. But just as the Straw Hats celebrated, a new fissure split the sky. Robin's voice trembled. "It's happening again." The wind screamed, light bending unnaturally. But this time something else emerged. A figure in a tattered cloak, his skin pale, his eyes burning with cosmic fire. "Where is Eric Lenscher?" the stranger demanded. Luffy stepped forward, his expression fierce. "Who are you?" The man smiled grimly. "I am Apocalypse, and I have come to reclaim my servant." Chapter 17. Beyond the Rift. And so began a new nightmare. The Straw Hats faced their most terrifying challenge yet, a being of ancient power from Magneto's world, one who sought to reshape this one as his own. As battles erupted across the Grand Line, old foes and new heroes rose. Legends awoke. And in the heart of it all, the shadow of Magneto's legacy loomed. For though he had left, his war had only just begun. To be continued.